Good afternoon, my name is Mel Debenham. I'm General Manager for Supermums Consulting. This is my weekly session of Get Hired. So in essence, an opportunity to talk through 2 or 3 vacancies that we're currently working on, but also to give you some handy hints and tips. We talk a lot about interview technique, about how to perform well at interview, but this week, following on from that, I would like to talk to you about the right way to cancel an interview. But let's get going on some of the vacancies that we are working on right now. So Anne-Marie is working on a really nice role for a senior admin / business analyst. It is a hybrid role, so you do need to be based in easy commute of Edinburgh. There might be a little bit more travel, but it's not too far away. Might be on the odd occasion the need to go to Glasgow. But other than that, you'd probably be working 3 to 4 days a week from home. Salary is 40 to 42k, and really they're looking for a good all-round admin, someone that can manage user accounts, add new users, modify existing accounts, check permissions, restrict and open access to data as and when required, someone that is capable of managing the system improvement schedule, someone that can manage the security standards on the system. You do need to have great communication skills because you will be working with the L&D team to be devising, developing and delivering training to new users. So some previous experience of that would be really, really beneficial. And then you will need some experience of creating and producing analytics and reports. So it's a nice opportunity from a BA point of view. If you've gathered information before from end users or from clients, as an example, that information will also be really, really beneficial. Nice role, some great benefits. It's a non-profit. And as I said at the beginning, it's Anne-Marie's vacancy, so do get in touch with her. Second role is one of Ikra's roles, and that is Salesforce developer. Really, really nice role, totally remote. You could be based in the UK, you could be based in Spain or another area of Europe, but ultimately the key requirement, along with your development skills, is that you are fluent in Spanish and English, both written and verbal. So the developer for this role is going to be responsible for developing, testing and maintaining the application, an application that's done in Apex that runs on top of the Salesforce platform. And the key skills that you will need is you will need a background and experience in participating in investigation, evaluation, selection and implementation of different solutions for both application and infrastructure technologies. You will need to be capable of coding software programs and applications, and you'll need some previous experience of performing code reviews. On top of that, you will need to have the ability to design, run and monitor software tests and be capable of debugging and troubleshooting issues on any application in the environment. So really nice opportunity, looking to pay somewhere in the region of around €40,000 per annum. Get in touch with Ikra, it's a great role. We're also looking for a Salesforce admin in Bristol. So this is a client that we regularly do business with. So everyone that we place loves it. It's a really nice organisation. They're a consultancy. They have a number of clients. So this role does require somebody that's capable of supporting more than one client at any time. You will have your Salesforce admin certification ideally for this role. And you will have previous experience of administering a Salesforce org, working with several clients, so administering some of their org as well, because the organisation manages a managed service provision to its customers. You'll be managing client tickets. You will need to have excellent communication skills. If you do come from a background that's consultancy, fantastic. If you don't let that stop you applying. They will look at other people, but one of the key criteria in terms of personality and work ethic is that it's someone who's a self-starter with a can-do attitude. So we've got 3 job opportunities there that we've discussed this week, but for more information, you can go to our website. So that's www.supermums.org, where you'll find the recruitment page. You can look at all of our vacancies and apply directly. Alternatively, you can sign up for our job alerts, where our jobs will come directly into your inbox. And beyond all of that, you can reach out to myself, to Paula Jones, Ikra Aman and Anne-Marie Day via LinkedIn. So do reach out and get in touch. We'd love to hear from you. Okay, so we often talk about interviews, so interviewing techniques, how to perform well at interview, how to prepare for interview. But actually, what we also know is that sometimes people want to cancel interviews. So I did want to talk to you today a little bit more about how to cancel that interview in the right way. So I guess the big thing for me is if you want to cancel an interview, and people cancel interviews for a whole variety of reasons, yeah. Firstly, you need to be absolutely confident that this is a job that you don't want, yeah. If you are going to decide to cancel that interview. And the reason for that is that sometimes cancelling an interview doesn't really look that great. If you're confident you don't want the job, or you're making the right decision for your career by not going along for that interview, then cancel it. And it's absolutely fine. It can be awkward to cancel an interview, but if it's not right for you, then feel free to do so. My best advice is you shouldn't be cancelling an interview if you actually want the job, or there's a chance that you want the job. That doesn't mean you can't reschedule the interview, because that's a completely different story. But for me, there are some potential consequences of cancelling an interview. One, you can look unprofessional if you cancel an interview. Two, your unreliability, it potentially shows an element of unreliability, and that could be a point against you. And finally, you may not get the second chance for interviewing for that position. Organisations at the moment have got lots of candidates to choose from. If they've selected you, they've already gone through a selection criteria, a screening criteria. That's taken them some time to pull out the people that they want to interview. But that means that they've got other candidates. Yeah. So it can look professional. Some of the worst examples of cancelling interviews are where somebody rings up half an hour before to say, I can't attend the interview today, I'm poorly. We know that people get ill. It's a fact of life that people get ill, but honestly, you didn't become ill half an hour before the interview. You felt unwell the day before. If that illness only just came on half an hour before the interview, probably sounding a little bit harsh, but I'm sure that there's an opportunity for you to still attend that interview. But it is okay to cancel an interview, and you should do that, as I said, if you're confident that the job isn't for you. The best reasons and why you should cancel an interview are a better job has been offered, so you're accepting a better job. Maybe you've heard some news about the organisation and it doesn't align with your values, so you don't want to be part of that culture. Maybe you've re-evaluated the financial implication of moving jobs and you've decided that you can't afford the career move. Or you've simply just changed your mind. They're all really good reasons as to why you should completely cancel that interview. But when you do want to cancel the interview, how should you cancel it? Yeah. So if you decide to cancel the interview, you want to make sure that you follow some key steps. And those steps are: let the interviewer know as soon as you know. As soon as you decide that you want to cancel, let the interviewer know. If you are being interviewed by, if you've applied for that job directly, then you need to let the hiring manager know and the person that's interviewing you. If it's a recruiter that's found you that interview, you need to go straight to the recruiter and you need to let them know. So whether it be the recruiter or the interviewer, let them know as soon as you know, either by email or by phone. Be brief about your reason for cancelling. You don't owe anyone an explanation. Bear in mind that anything can happen in the future, so make sure that you don't burn any bridges. But then how to communicate that? Well, actually, depending on how you've been communicating with the interviewer or the recruiter is potentially the way that you should communicate you're cancelling your interview. So if most of your communication with that end hirer has been via email, then it's okay to cancel that interview via email. If your communication has predominantly been by telephone or by Teams, as an example, you probably tend to find that happens more often with your recruiter, then do the decent thing and pick up the phone. One of the biggest bugbears for recruiters, and I've been in recruitment a really long time, is candidates cancelling interviews. It happens, we know it happens, but do give them the courtesy of picking up the phone and saying, look, thanks for your time, thanks for giving me the opportunity. So sure, they're going to put you on the spot and they're going to ask you some questions about why, can they change your mind? But, be adamant. If it's not for you, then just let them know, but let them know in good time. If you check out the internet, you'll find tons and tons of scripts, email templates, and they should be able to help you. Yeah. If you don't want to cancel the interview, but you can't make that time, if an unforeseen situation arises and you don't want to have to cancel your interview, you might have the option to take a rain check in essence. So ask the interviewer if it's okay to reschedule. Is it bad to reschedule an interview? It's probably not ideal, but it's not necessarily unprofessional depending on your situation. There are times when you should never reschedule. Maybe you didn't plan, maybe you forgot, maybe something more fun came up, or you were just unprepared. They're not great reasons for cancelling an interview. But if you're rescheduling because of a hospital appointment that's just come up, perhaps you're working at the moment and somebody has slotted an appointment in your diary, so there's a work obligation, you will tend to find that the interviewer and or your recruiter will understand. So as long as you remain professional about it, the prospective employer or the recruiter that's working on your behalf will likely respect your needs and you will get the opportunity to reschedule. But just like completely cancelling an interview, be sure to follow some basic courtesy rules so that you don't burn bridges. Yeah. If they can't reschedule the interview because they've got other people to see and you lose out on that chance, that is totally unfortunate. But, don't burn your bridges because you never know if you'll want to work with that company in the future and who you might be connected to that's connected to somebody there. So the big thing for me when you're cancelling or rescheduling an interview is always be courteous, give as much time as possible. And when you're rescheduling, do have a backup date in mind. So hopefully that gives you some hints and tips. It's okay to cancel an interview, but make sure that it's a job that you don't want because you may lose out on that opportunity. But as I talked to you about earlier, there are some really good reasons as to why you should cancel an interview. You found another job, it's not right for you, etc. If you want to reschedule that interview, that's okay. But again, be courteous. Make sure that as soon as you know, the interviewer knows. If you're working with an agency, the only thing that I'd say is give them a break. They work really, really hard to get people interviews. These job vacancies and interviews don't just come up. Recruiters work really, really hard to get them. So let your recruiter know in advance. What I would say if you're working through a recruitment company, use the recruitment company to support you. Don't go direct to the client. So hopefully today we've covered off a couple of job opportunities. So hopefully there's something out there on our website that is of interest to you. And today we've talked about the right way to cancel an interview. So hopefully you've got some really good hints and tips. If you've got any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly. You can do that on LinkedIn, or if you've got my email address, absolutely feel free. And then finally, just from me, a really massive thanks very much to Libby Batchelor, who has filled in for me for the past couple of weeks while I've been away on holiday. So for me, that's this week's session of Get Hired. Be great to hear from people and look forward to talking to you a little bit more next week. Thanks very much. Take care. Bye-bye.